Not quite my tempo.
I'm gonna make him an offer again.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Multiplex Loves Movies. I am not Tim Brzakala. I am Kaleb Koho in the hosting chair, and it's going to be a hectic show, a kinetic show, and who better to be on such a hectic show than Cody Newberry? Cody, welcome to Multiplex Loves Movies that doesn't have a host. How are you doing?
I'm a little upset that Tim asked you to host and not me, but whatever. But yeah, this should be something. I don't know how it's going to go. Tim may cancel the whole show after tonight by the rails we run this off of. So, yeah, it should be a fun show. We don't have a ton of news, but we have great personalities.
That is also debatable, but welcome to the best movie show, or the premier movie news show on the internet. Kaleb Boatman is also here with us today, just to ensure this show gets canceled after today. How are you doing, Boatman?
People have told me, look, you have a great personality, but yeah.
No one's ever said that to you.
Facts.
True. I was more meaning like in the Emperor's New Groove type of way, but
listen, Garth, like, I don't know why you're here right now either without Tim, but we're trying to make it entertaining. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of news to talk about this week, so we're gonna try our best. Tim, don't hate us or cancel us, but every episode of Multiplex Loves Movies starts with the box office. So your box office breakdown coming in at number one was the new Disney Pixar film Onward, $39.1 million. And The Invisible Man holding strong at the number two spot with another $15.1 million added on to that. The Ben Affleck sports drama The Way Back coming in third with $8.2 million. My boy Sonic the Hedgehog holding on strong at four with $7.7 million. And somehow still in the top five, the CGI dog movie The Call of the Wild with another $6.8 million. Onward made money. I think that's the story. I thought that'd make more. I think that'd make more money than it did. Or do we think
39 is pretty low?
It's very low. So that's like my thing is like, is it because of the coronavirus scares around the country? Is that why no one's going to Onward right now?
Yeah, that's part of it. And also, I think, honestly, the trailers to this movie were not great. I'm going to be honest. I think the Onward trailers are not great. But I also think 90% of Pixar movie trailers are not great. So,
yikes. I hard disagree with that. But also,
they're great. Their trailers, I think, are generally poorly marketed.
I literally wanted to see this from the moment of the trailer. So, like, I thought the trailer did a really good job of, like, telling, like, a different world. I think maybe it scared people because it's the fantasy element, and like not everybody's into that like fantasy type thing, so that could have worked. But I think it's a coronavirus. I think the media is doing a great job of scaring everybody to stay inside their homes and not do anything. It's just a special flu, guys. Let's relax, everybody. If you have an immune system, you'll be fine. But 39 million is really low. I think it needed to be a lot higher for them to move forward. I'm surprised they didn't move it, to be honest. Like, everybody else is running away. They decided, no, we'll stick with it. But I think it's going to cost them in the long run.
Especially because it's like a family film, where I think people like that probably affects it more than like most movies.
That's also Onward is also the first major animated movie released this year, so you'd think it'd crush because we haven't had that many animated family films so far out this year. So 39.1 million is a lot lower than I would have predicted, but yeah, I think we could chalk that up to the coronavirus scare. The other news story, I think, Sonic the Hedgehog's still tracking along, but Call of the Wild still in the top five. It's still a flop. It's still a terrible flop, but in the top five. Who's going to see Call of the Wild right now?
How much has it made, like, overall? Like,
great question. Let me look. Well,
okay, I didn't know. I didn't know. We keep saying it's a flop, but I was like, how much did they really think going into it that they were going to make from Call of the Wild? Like, I saw that movie. I saw that dog looks real creepy, and then find out it's a human underneath it.
The Call of the Wild had a budget of $135 million, and worldwide it has made a $100 million total worldwide so far.
Yeah, that's going to be that's a tax write-off.
Back in my day, if we had a movie about a CGI dog, that dog would be voiced by George Lopez, and it would be called Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
Facts. But we'll move on to our first news story of the day. Not a very happy one to start with, but over the weekend, the late, great Max von Sydow passed at 90 years old. Max von Sydow, an actor that you would probably know him best well for The Exorcist, Seventh Seal, The Greatest Story Ever Told. Recently, Star Wars The Force Awakens, an Academy Award nominated turn in Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. Yeah, I think everyone, if you don't know the name Max von Sydow, you know the actor from the movies you've been in. 2010's Robin Hood. Like, he's been in so many weird different movies, and he's been very good in just about everything I've seen him in. I'll start with Cody. Thoughts on Max von Sydow?
Yeah, like I said, before we go on, Tim mentioned his character like in a Fandom match like not too long ago, and I'm like, oh, it brought back to my memory like, oh, and then sad news that he passed this week. He was also in Game of Thrones. He was the Three-Eyed Raven in Game of Thrones, which was one of the great roles in that show. It's a very sad loss. I mean, when you get up to 90, you know, you lived a full life at that point, so it's not like a sudden thing, but it's still sad because he won't be in anything else moving forward. And I mean, he was just acting up until like a couple of years ago. Like, what was his? I mean, he had one in 2018 apparently, and he had one that was supposed to come out. So, yeah. I mean, he's still working. So it's sad to see him lost, even with being up in there in 90.
Absolutely, Boatman. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think he was a great talent. I mean, you look at even like stuff like back in the 70s, like 3 Days of the Condor, where he plays the hitman in that movie. He's really, really good in that. He could do so many different things, and I think he was very good, and he kind of popped up in a bunch of different films, so he was a very talented actor.
Absolutely. I mean, there's not much more that can really be said. He was one of the greats, and I hope he rests in peace. But
and we hid Tim in a closet, and he's not coming out until he acts better. So
yep, Tim is in a closet because we decided we wanted to run his show for some reason,
and he's been bad, very bad.
Right.
There's a whole sexual element with this now that
I'm going on with the first order. Talk to the first order. But we'll move on. We said coronavirus at the top of the show, and it's attacking our movie theater experiences. My Spy and No Time to Die have both been pushed back due to coronavirus. So, yeah, they're both moved pretty late in the year, both coming out around November, if I am correct. But, yeah. Do we think that they should be moving movies around because of the flu, or what? Boatman, your thoughts?
I don't know about you guys, but I'm just really, really bummed that My Spy is being delayed. That was my number one anticipated film of the year, and now it's being delayed again. But seriously, I think from a business standpoint, it makes sense. Less people are going to the movies right now, so I think it's probably smart to wait a little bit. And I think that's why part of the reason why Onward is not doing as like blockbuster numbers as usual. So yeah, I think this is a smart move. It makes sense. I'm just really disappointed because I was actually really excited for No Time to Die.
That's absolutely accurate. I was excited for No Time to Die as well. I was getting more excited with the more trailers I saw, but now there's nothing coming out for like a couple of weeks, and we have to wait until Mulan and New Mutants, which I don't know about you, but I'm not excited about either one. But Cody,
shut up about Mulan. It's a good movie. Deal with your problems. I don't know what it did to you when you were younger, but Mulan, the animated movie.
I was talking more about New Mutants. I'm less excited for New Mutants than Mulan, but still.
I just want to see what it is, like more than anything. Like
that's a fact.
I am convinced that New Mutants is going to appear in theaters. Everyone's going to sit down. If the final trailer is going to play, we're going to see the Marvel logo. and then Rick Astley is going to appear, and it's just an hour and a half of the Never Gonna Give You Up video.
Malcolm be surprised if Malcolm put it up. Peter Rabbit 2 also delayed. So.
Oh no!
I wouldn't be surprised if you go into New Mutants and you literally sit down and you see the Marvel logo pop across the screen, and then it says the New Mutants will return, and that's it. That's the whole movie. They've just been totally X'd out of the movie. I think it's smart, but My Spy, one, I've never heard anybody in this community hate a movie more than Jacob London on My Spy. Apparently, this is the worst abomination to film that has ever existed in the history of man. I actually saw the trailer and I said, it's not going to be great, but it didn't look like it looked like The Pacifier. It looked like something passable. It doesn't look like terrible, but they should have called Netflix right up and said, I'll cut you a deal how to get it on the streaming service tomorrow. It would have made way more than it's ever going to make when it goes to theater. James Bond, I'm very bummed about. I am very, very bummed about. The trailers had me super amped for this movie. I am a big Craig Bond fan. I did not like, two of those movies as much, but I think overall the movies are fantastic. And I wanted to see where they go with him on his final one. But they had to move it. They have to move it because they're terrifying everybody with this outbreak that turns everybody into the zombies, apparently. It's just the weirdest thing, and everybody's scared. And Peter Rabbit 2, well, you should have called Netflix too, because you probably should go into a streaming service as well. Like, the movies that are moving like those I don't care about, but No Time to Die I really needed to see sooner than November.
I also will pose a secondary question. Do you think November is too far back to push No Time to Die? Because now it's competing with a Disney animated movie called Raya and the Last Dragon, and it comes out a week before Marvel's Eternals. So it's right in the middle of a lot of notable blockbuster studio releases, whereas where it was the only major release of its weekend. Do we think that was a bad place to move it?
I would have liked a August-September drop, like right after summer, like maybe in October, like right before the holiday rush. I think that would have been a perfect drop for them, because you're not competing with a ton, and like it would make up. Now, as somebody who's worked in the theater before, November's such a hit and miss month. Like, they stack everything near the end, so you have 1 to 2 weekends to actually make your money. And there's people like James Bond, but it's not like one of those, it's global, but it's not like a Marvel movie that people run to like everybody, Joe Schmo. There's a good fan base, but it's not as high. And now it's going to be competing against way too much. So I think November's way too far, but maybe they think the coronavirus is going to last till October. So they're just, I think it's a bad move. I think they lost 30 to 50 million to move it. And now it's probably going to lose more because I don't think it's going to make as much money being in that slot.
Right. Boatman, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is going to be kind of rough for No Time to Die. I don't see this going well. I think they were kind of in a lose-lose situation, though, because I'm not sure how much, if they will really make more money if they would have had it now, during the coronavirus scare or what. Like, I think they were just in a lose-lose situation, and they're just kind of hoping to wait all this out.
Yeah, I think November might have been a little too long to wait. I think Cody's absolutely right on the money. It should have been a late August, early September release where no one ever puts anything good out. You could have crushed, even if your Bond movie's okay. An okay Bond movie is going to make more money than a terrible generic Hitman's Bodyguard sequel. But oh well. But we'll go ahead. We'll move to the next topic of discussion, which piggybacks off this.
There's a Hitman's Bodyguard sequel coming out.
The Hitman's Bodyguard's wife.
I did not know that was actually happening. Now that you say that, I remember that happening.
He'll never be Warzone champ.
All right, so we are going to piggyback to the next topic right off of the coronavirus. We're staying in the coronavirus because another major cancellation, South by Southwest, has been canceled. The entire event, the entire ordeal, South by Southwest, donezo because of the coronavirus. That's kind of a big deal that they shut down an entire event over this.
Was that the one Spence was invited to?
No. I think that one is
Can.
Oh,
I was gonna say TIFF.
I think
it was the Antarctica Film Festival. Anyway, but South by Southwest.
The film festival the guy at my theater has like every Thursday night where he just shows a bunch of his pornos until they kick him out of the theater.
Maggie's employers will not be listening to this episode because she's not on it, so that's okay. But I don't know how to back on. I don't know how to circle back around to that. South by Southwest. That's a pretty major festival for not only movies but like music and entertainment news in general. It's one of the early festival sort of event settings in the beginning of the year. So it's kind of a major cancellation and closing. Do we think that's gonna affect the movie picture for the rest of the? I don't know how to recover from this joke, but
I'm sorry.
I can't believe you've done this. You derailed the show.
The viewpoints of Kaleb Boatman do not reflect the viewpoints of Multiplex Entertainment. And
they weren't viewpoints. That's just a thing. The guy at the living in the dumpster.
You're still talking. I need you to stop.
Okay.
Cody, what are your thoughts on South by Southwest being canceled?
I'm pissed because I was going.
Oh, really?
No, not really. Don't go outside, everybody. Stay in your effing bubble. We're all going to be Jake Gyllenhaal and Bubble Boy in a second. We can't go. We can't do anything. I know it's precautionary, but like,
just wash your hands.
if you're going to get the virus, you're going to get it. There's nothing you can do besides quit your job and be a hermit inside your own home. Like, the flu is around right now, guys. Like, have you got it? You didn't? Okay, you might be safe from the corona. You may get the coronavirus, and guess what? You have an immune system. It will fight it. Unless you're an elderly woman, or elderly person, or a child. If you're one of those two things, you haven't built up or you're weakened so much, you're going to die. Facts of life.
Did you just say
I love that he goes elderly woman and then backpedals really quick to elderly person.
The old boomers have fought way harder and they're not dying yet.
Well,
they still got to vote for Trump in November.
Actually, Viagra that counteracts the it doesn't affect old.
So the viewpoint is, if you're going to get it, you're going to get it.
Right.
And you have something built up. So I think all these people are being cautionary, but guess what? There's nothing you can do. Like, that's the crazy thing. Just like, we have a trip coming up. We could have canceled for the coronavirus, but guess what? If I die getting the coronavirus, at least I went to Minneapolis with our friends. Those are the things that I'm doing. Like, it's all right, guys.
We had a coronavirus scare today in my city because a student at UND, a student at the University of North Dakota goes, I think I have coronavirus. So they self-quarantined themselves and sent their sample into this college. 2 hours later, the college says, you don't have coronavirus, you have the flu. Calm the F down. And that's our city in a nutshell.
When the swine flu went around a couple years ago, my Aunt Betty, guess what? Thinks she had the swine flu. She didn't have the swine flu. You had the flu. Shut up. Just go away.
My Uncle Joey thought he had a heart attack.
It turned out to be the coronavirus.
Wait, it was like, Uncle Billy, calm down. You're fine. Turns out he did have a heart attack. It was two unrelated incidents.
Shut up.
Oh my God.
We're never going to be able to be welcome back.
No, we're done. We're gonna get canceled. We're only 19 minutes into the show, and we're almost to the fourth discussion topic. So, fuck. All right, there really wasn't a lot of news this week, but this is the big news story of the day, the one that excites me the most. All right, guys, say it with me: you either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Christian Vail is playing the villain in Thor: Love and Thunder. It is not confirmed what the name of the villain is or which villain he's playing. The rumor is he's playing Gore the God Butcher, which would be really fucking cool. But Christian Vail joining the MCU as a villain in Thor 4. We also got confirmation from Vin Diesel the Guardians of the Galaxy will be in Thor 4. So thoughts overall on Thor: Love and Thunder? We have a lot of information about this movie now. Cody.
It's not the first time he's playing a villain. He played Dick Cheney, and he was a villain in the United States. So no, he's the perfect person to become a villain. Like, they're doing smart things with their acting choices to cast like dominating villains right now, like Josh Brolin. I'm terrible at this entire game, but like
Jake Gyllenhaal,
Michael Keaton, Jake Gyllenhaal, Kate Blanchett, correct? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So and like these, we're building to this insane thing of like these villains are getting insanely good. Like they're making great choices. The one problem is if you kill him, I hate you.
Right.
Like, he's a waste of a talent for one movie. You have to use him more. That's why Spider-Man, they didn't kill off Michael Keaton. He's still featured in somewhere. He could come back in a certain way. Like,
he's in Morbius, everybody.
Yikes. So like those are smart choices. A little bit like, Kate Blanchett, Hella, as far as we know, is gone. Like Jake Gyllenhaal, as far as we know, like those things they're ruined. And Michael B. Jordan, these are characters that are fantastic and casted well, but now I'm worried because I don't want just one good villain. I want these solo movies to have arcing villains. Like, and that's the one thing with Thor they've done. Like, Loki's been that driving force, but he's kind of went side and side and been like a partner in crime at times. He's not an actual villain. So my thing is I want like these overarching villains to have an impact with the characters instead of just, hero rises, gets beaten down, then rises back up to beat the villain and we're done. Like, he is too big of a name to get back into comic books after doing Dark Knight to just piss him away with one movie. That would be a terrible mistake. If he's a villain and like he plays both sides kind of, and they flip him to a hero and he continues on. That's the only thing I would be okay with. But I want him to either be a villain throughout or be in more movies. Either way, I don't want him just to be a one shot. It would be a terrible choice.
100%. I don't think, but the thing is, I'm worried that Bale doesn't want to do more than one after the Dark Knight. So that's why he signs a one picture and then they go, okay, I'll play as long as I die at the end, or I don't have to come back for any more. But I think Bale's going to be an incredible villain. Boatman.
Yeah, I call that, the idea that a person just wants to hang around and then be done after the one thing. I think that's the Sam Witwer syndrome, when you just want to show up and then if anybody asks you to come back, you yell at them. But no, like I think I'm excited because Christian Bale is one of the finest actors working today, and he's going to be working with Taika Waititi, who is one of the finest directors working today. And I think the Thor movies have gotten a lot more interesting now that Taika is behind the camera. So I'm really, really excited. Sure, I'm guessing it won't be able to have an overarching effect on the MCU, but I don't care as much about the long term in terms of MCU. I care more about give me a great short one-term movie that I can love. I think movies like Doctor Strange were very concerned with kind of building this bigger world and setting up the time shows. And there are a couple other MCU movies that care about kind of just adding to the lore of the MCU, but they're not great as singular movies. So I would rather have a great singular movie. So that's why I'm excited.
I can agree with that. Thor: Love and Thunder has a lot of things revealed about it. This sounds like it's going to be a packed movie. We know that Jane Foster is going to become Thor or Lady Thor, regular Thor. Can't remember which one she actually plays. Tessa Thompson, Valkyrie, is going to be back as the King of Asgard. And then she's confirmed to be the first LGBTQ superhero in the MCU with this movie. You have Bale playing a villain, but then it's also a comedy with Waititi. So how menacing are they willing to go with Bale in a comedic movie? And the Guardians of the Galaxy are involved, so it's definitely going to have comedy in it, especially with Waititi and the Guardians. So I have no idea where they're going or how it's going to work, but I trust Waititi emphatically.
I think Taika has a good mix on that because I think this movie can start off really slapstick and stupid like he does, but he can drive in an emotional tone like Jojo Rabbit, for example.
Right.
That movie has a very funny start, like hilarious at times. And then there's a shift in that movie that happens that you're like, what just happened? And then it picks back up with comedic beats. So it'd be awesome, like if like they bring in Vail to be like this character, like is a happy-go-lucky, nice guy, and he flips on the dime and like is evil. Like I think that would be great. And they've done it. I know they've already done that sort of stuff, like with Strange. They, Mordo or whatever his name is. He switches at the end of the movie. Like you get close to somebody, but I think Vail. The secret with Vail is he is literally probably the best male actor working right now. Like hands down, whatever you give him, I trust him to do whatever he is. Like he's not the problem in any of his movies. So give him the role, give him the time. I think it will be a very, very good performance that we could see. So again, I would rather it overarching because I get that he wants to do the one movie, but again, if it's good and there's enough money, anybody can come back for anything because just ask Joaquin Phoenix. So
if he's Gore the God Butcher, like he's probably not going to get out of the one movie because that's a very Thor-centric villain.
Or Billy,
Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah, Beta Ray Bill.
He would be unless they made Beta Ray Bill a villain, which would be actually really.
He has. There's been some sort of
rumor.
He's been a villain. So
they fight the first time they meet. So, right. But I think that could be cool if they make Beta Ray Bill like a hard villain. But I would, if he is Gore the God Butcher, would love to see Gore the God Butcher interact with Sam Wilson, Bucky Barnes. Like that'd be cool. That's a very powerful villain. How does the new Captain America take that? Stuff like that. But who knows? But that is our last movie topic of the episode, and we're almost coming in at 30 minutes. So here's what's coming out new this week. Finally, talking about delayed movies. The Hunt is out this weekend, and they changed their entire marketing to feed into that controversy about the film. It is about a group of people who are hunted by an elite upper class, and there's a lot of political spectrum argument about the movie surrounding it. I don't know much about it. I'm not very interested in it, period. But Cody, are you going to see The Hunt? Does it look interesting?
I wasn't going to probably, but I feel like one of the best story ideas is the most dangerous game. Like that mindset of The Hunt. It's a weird and uncomfortable topic to have. Like, what if somebody brought you somewhere and then hunted you? But in the horror genre, I think horror is doing something very interesting this year. Like Fantasy Island, I didn't see it, but I thought the premise of Fantasy Island was very interesting. They're getting me closer to wanting to go see these movies with the concept. And this one is, I think it'd be uncomfortable to watch at times, but I think it might be, if you're a horror fan, I think it might be right up your alley. But yeah, I can get why it's off-putting. I can get why a lot of people will be totally against this. The same people that were probably against Joker or anything like that, promoting violence could change. We saw The Purge happen. We've seen so many movies like this. Again, horror leads into the horrifying, and sometimes, social commentary on violence in the world. Sometimes is one of the it's closer to home, so it's even worse, even more of a horror type thing. So I'm going to see it. I probably won't go watch it in the theater. I will probably watch it when it comes out because I'm not going to pay money to really go watch it right away. So yeah, I think it's interesting, but I don't know.
Boatman, your thoughts on The Hunt?
It looks interesting, but also I'm not sure. I think it could be good. But it also looks like one of those movies that's trying to shock you, and then it just kind of comes across as an edgy 15-year-old that's just.
It looks like an Eli Roth film.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, look at this. It's going to be the most disgusting horror movie ever. And then The Green Inferno comes out. It's just, I don't feel like it's. Yeah, it just looks like a shock value to get you in there, and it could be something totally different once you get
shock value for sake of shock value, basically.
Right.
The next big release this weekend is Bloodshot, the Vin Diesel superhero movie, based on the Image comic. The first theatrically released film to be based on an Image comic. Image, for those who are unfamiliar, the third biggest comic book brand behind Marvel and DC, and all creator-owned. Every creator who creates a character, they own the rights to it. So Bloodshot is the biggest one from there. And they cast Vin Diesel to star in it. And this looks awful because Image Comics is awful in general. Boatman, your thoughts on Bloodshot?
Koho, you've known me for a while now. Do you really think I care at all about this movie?
No, I do not think you give a shit about a soldier that dies and comes back to life with superpowers. That doesn't sound like your alley.
I also just don't care about generic action movies that nobody will ever see.
Thank you, Garth. Sorry, it's Valiant, not Image. I thought he was an Image comic character.
Excuse you,
Valiant is fourth best then. But thank you.
Valiant is a movie with Ewan McGregor about pigeons.
That is a fact. Cody, are you going to see Bloodshot? You interested at all?
It just pisses me off, honestly, that Vin Diesel still has a job in Hollywood. I believe he's terrible. I honestly do. I think he's one of the worst actors I have ever watched on screen. I can't tell you really a redeemable movie that I'm like, man, he acted the hell out of that, besides the words, I am Groot. Oh, gosh. Maggie's not here, Star True, and there's other people a part of Multiplex besides Maggie. Find somebody else to talk about. Jeez. I just feel offended that he always calls out Maggie, doesn't talk about me and how great I am.
Fair.
Next thing. Why does he have a job? Why does he have a job? Like, can
because
anybody
he made the best franchise in Hollywood, Fast and Furious.
But like there are actors that like fit his build, fit his style, that don't ever get heard from again. They play in a few movies. Like, I just am so confused how he's still working. In this movie, it looks like, it looks awful. Like, go back to playing XXX. Like, go do your own movies on DVD. Like, I don't want you in Hollywood anymore. I don't want you to make any money. Don't go see it so Vin Diesel can stop working. Like, oh.
Yeah. Also, Malcolm, Image is definitely not owned by DC. That would never happen in a million years. Considering that they're even fun story that we're not even talking about. There's a chance that DC Comics might be sold or closed. That's the thing going on right now. Because Warner Brothers is owned by AT&T, and AT&T has no idea what to do with DC Comics or how to run a comic book business. And they just fired their editor-in-chief. So DC Comics could be sold. Maybe. I don't know if that'll happen or not, but that's a fun supplementary story that was in the world of comics last week. The last movie we had to talk about coming out this week from the people behind I Can Only Imagine, it's I Still Believe, the Jeremy Camp biopic starring KJ Apa of Riverdale, based on the memoir by Jeremy Camp and about his relationship, how he met his wife and his wife's struggle with cancer. This looks like a play for the teenage crowd. I don't know. That kid does not look anything like Jeremy Camp at all either.
Not a bit.
Not even a bit.
Doesn't look even remotely close to what Jeremy Camp is. I've met the man in person, and
right.
that is, like, when did he do steroids? At one point, is that the story that they're not telling us? Because that kid does not grow up to be Jeremy Camp. Jeremy Camp is a thick dude, muscle-wise.
What's also funny is KJ Apa is supposed to be playing Jeremy Camp 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is supposed to be a late 20s Jeremy Camp, and KJ Apa is 17.
Listen, I Can Only Imagine came out. That doesn't mean every Christian artist needs to piggyback and start making movies about themselves. Like, it's real gross and it's real weird because I'm really going to be disgusted when the Newsboys get their own shit movie. The
Newsboys movie would not be good, but you know who would be a good movie? Toby Mac has a good story. Toby Mac does have a good story.
I hate Toby Mac. No.
Really?
Oh.
He has a cool story.
Oh, he's the pop of, no thanks.
I mean, fair. But, like, in terms of, like, his whole story of DC Talk and then leaving DC Talk and being the one that no one thought would be the solo hit, and that he's the biggest solo hit.
That's one of the shots. Yeah, that's a shot. He was smart and left that place. But other than that, no.
Fair.
You call it Jesus Freak, I'm not leaving right then and there. I'm not going
to. If you call it Jesus Freak, it has to be a DC Talk movie, right? No, Boatman, your thoughts on I Still Believe?
When are we getting the Big Daddy Weave movie? Or the 10th Avenue North movie? Or the Stephen Curtis Chapman movie? Or I just feel like these are probably going to go on forever now. And
I'm sorry, Starger, did you just ask if Jeremy Camp is from The Doors?
I'm sorry.
Like, by the way, does anybody else find it funny? We brought up a Christian movie, and then all of a sudden Cam was like, my moment's here. I'm here.
No, but Cam's comment is completely accurate. The Newsboys already got a shit movie. It's called All Three God's Not Dead movies.
But that's not about them.
You wouldn't know it from the third act finale of God's Not Dead.
Who else does a concert and the major plot point of the movie meshing together at one point?
Yeah, the villain of the movie dies outside a Newsboys concert while they sing God's Not Dead. That's the end of God's Not Dead, everyone.
That's how this movie ends.
Yikes. The villain of this movie appears to be cancer, so I don't know how that's gonna work.
They create a new disease to get rid of cancer, and they call it the coronavirus.
Malcolm just said, Cameron, remember when we got I Can Still Imagine on the Biopics rank 'em? Is that the weird baby that these two movies made? I Can Only Imagine and I Still Believe just make a movie now?
I Can Still Imagine.
That's the sequel to I Can Only Imagine. Is I Can Still
Imagine us talking about this right now. Good Lord. Can we move on? Good
well, that is all that's coming out in the world of movies. That's the last topic. Good Lord.
If they're releasing it now, it's because Jeremy Camp wants people to get the coronavirus.
Yikes. I was going to say he's trying to cash in on that memoir money. But other than that,
by people the coronavirus, he's going to write a memoir about it.
Okay. Well, that's basically been Multiplex Loves Movies. It's a much shorter episode of Multiplex Loves Movies, but it was also a very slow news week. What movie are you guys gonna go see? Personally, I haven't seen The Way Back yet, so I'll go watch The Way Back before I see any of these. But in the world of movie Warzone, Boatman, what's coming out on Thursday, Friday?
Aaron J versus Koho. Scott Harvey versus Sandy Robinson. Mike Hanley versus Sean Wasserkrug.
That sounds like 3 dope matches. Tomorrow, Cody, your list sucks. What's going on?
It actually sounds like Warzone pulled from the bottom of the trash can, but we're not talking about that. Your list sucks is tomorrow. It's my birthday episode, and I'm on the panel. Kirk is hosting in his favorite movies of all time. I'm ready to get ripped apart because I put movies on there. 1 that I think would make Kirk twitch, and 2 that I really like. We also have first time on the show, Jacoby Bancroft will be on tomorrow. So that's really exciting. And then we also got Joe Harrison. So, and of course, Bar will always be there. So I always watch your list. Thank you so much, Star Drew. I appreciate that.
Maggie's not on your list sucks though, Star Drew. But Cody is. So there you go. In the world of fandom fights, on Sunday we have a very special teams match. Team Schizo, Dominic Rizzi, Eli McKay taking on the return of Blockbuster Video, Nazario Montenegro, Mike Hanley in Fandom. And it's a Nazario doubleheader this week because on Monday, Nazario Montenegro returns to the singles ring to play me in the Fandom Fights division in our tournament qualifying match. So a lot of me and Nazario this weekend in Warzone and Fandom. So keep your YouTube notifications on. Subscribe to the Multiplex Entertainment YouTube channel. Turn on that bell icon so you always get notifications. Smash that like button. Also, guys, we have a podcast feed on Apple and Spotify, wherever you download your podcast. Anchor, where you can download the audio versions of this show. Your list sucks. Basically, any show that we do that is not trivia is on that podcast feed. We also have some exclusive content only on the podcast network, including Jam Session and more stuff on the way exclusively for the audio listeners. So thank you so much for watching, listening, however you're consuming the show. Very short show this week, but I got to thank Kaleb Boatman and Cody Newberry for joining me. Tim Brzakala will be back next week for Multiplex Loves Movies. Hopefully it'll be a better news week. But thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next week with more Your List Sucks, or not Your List Sucks, Multiplex Loves Movies.
Not quite my tempo.
I'm gonna make him an offer, Cameron.